Hello, everyone. I think I'm going to get rid of those glasses. How's everyone going? So I'm just getting used to this whole live business. And I'm just getting used to where the chat is because last time I could not see the chat at all. So now I can see the chat, so that's good. I'm just going to play with it just to see. Okay, it's looking better than last time. Hello. How you going? I didn't tell you that I definitely was going live, and I didn't tell anyone because I just wanted to try it. And actually, can you hear me okay? I didn't even check. I'm just going to double check that I can hear okay. If I'm able to check it. It's perfect. Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's good. Then I'll get rid of that. Oh, sorry, it's a bit noisy. Okay, so as an introduction to everyone, if you are watching this later, you might like to write something in the chat. Ask any question that you would like to find an answer to. So maybe you would like to ask something about Aussie English. Maybe you would like to ask something about Australia. It's up to you. I have a couple of ideas of different things we could chat about, but is there anything you would like to talk about? Let me know. I've got my, whatever this thing is called, these things. I always forget what they're called. Anyway, but I don't know if this is where the sound is coming from. Oh, hello. How's it going? Earbuds. Yeah, I always go to call them like something else. I'm just looking what I can do in this chat. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if it's the computer picking up the microphone, if that's where it's coming from. I couldn't work it out before I started, so I thought I'll just try it and see what happens. Yep. All right. I am going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. And if there's something in particular that you would like to talk about, then you just tell me. Tell me in the chat. Let me think what to start with. I'm not sure where to start. I've got too many things that I would like to tell you about, actually, and it's a bit of a problem. Let's start with, in Australia, cafe culture. Cafe culture. So in Australia, it's very popular to go out for breakfast, to go out for brunch, also to get a coffee in the morning, to go to a cafe and buy a coffee. And that is something that if you drive past cafes, if you're walking around, there might be restaurants or pubs that also open for breakfast. And it's quite a popular thing. I'm wondering, let me just see. Okay, I can see what's going on now. It's so different being live because I'm looking at the chat in real time as it happens. Okay. And it can be distracting, but it's a good thing too, because you can ask me what you would like. So cafe culture. So if I go to a cafe for brunch in the morning, I might meet some friends there, and I might get a flat white, a coffee. I might get a latte. Those two are very similar. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between a flat white and a latte. I think the latte might have more foam on the top, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's right. Or you could get a cappuccino. Also, in Australia, if you like drinking, in other places, sometimes it's called an Americano. Americanos in Australia, we call it a long black. A long black. And an espresso shot, I think I'm saying this right, is a short black. I don't I don't like to have a long black or a short black. I don't get those because I like a very milky coffee. How is everyone going today, by the way? Feel free to put in the chat either the live chat or the chat later if you're watching this later. What have you been doing today? I'm wondering what you've been doing. I did something very exciting. What time is it? So it's 5, just after 5 p.m. here. I was planning on going live. This is Sunday at 5 o'clock for me, just after 5. I was thinking of doing a live at 5 p.m. on a Sunday, which I'm calling a Sunday session. In Australia, on an afternoon, on a Sunday afternoon, sometimes we have Sunday sessions at the pub. I don't generally go to the pub, it's not really my thing. But if you do go, it's quite a nice vibe actually to go to the pub and enjoy a quiet drink. Sometimes they have live music. So I thought, why not call this a Sunday session? We're not drinking alcohol. I mean, you might be. I'm not. I'm drinking my water in a plastic cup. But I thought this might be a nice, chill, relaxing time where you can just chat, ask me questions, and you might also like to use this as a time for just listening as well if you're learning English or learning Aussie English. So the exciting thing that I did today, I cleaned my bathroom. It was such a beautiful day. It would have been nice to go out somewhere. But yesterday I went out. Yesterday I went for a bike ride. And that was really nice. Went for a really nice bike ride in the sun. And then in the afternoon yesterday, I was all tuckered out. I was tired. I look tired today. I am tired. It's been a busy time the last week trying to work and do all of the things I need to do. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to tell you a little bit about cafe culture. If I go to a cafe, it could be a pub actually on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning to go get brunch. It could be a restaurant. They might have a nice outdoor eating area. That's quite popular in Australia. And yeah, I might get if I feel like a big feed. Can I write in the chat? I can, can't I? If I want to have a big feed, which means I have something big to eat because I'm really hungry, I might have a big breakfast. But there's also a vegetarian option, which I usually will get instead of the big breakfast. Let me explain what those are because you might like to get this when you next are at a cafe on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, when you're getting some brunch. Hello. So it's morning in Germany. Guten Morgen. Wie geht's? How are you? Good to see you. We're getting a bit of a crew in here now. That's nice. I'll tell you what you missed. All you missed is we were just asking what everyone's been doing today. And also, I'm talking about cafe culture in Australia. You can get some good breakfast foods in Germany too, actually, because I love bread. Okay. So people are using their Sundays to clean. Yeah, so I cleaned my bathroom today. I also need to clean my kitchen, actually, but I haven't got to that yet. I don't know if I'm going to. I've got some other things I need to get done before tomorrow. So I don't know if the kitchen will be done, but I need to do it. I need to clean. So if anyone has any more questions, please let me know. Put them in the chat. I can actually see the chat this time, which is exciting. I couldn't see it last time. I think something went wrong last time. I don't think it was me. It might have been me. I might have been the problem. See, and this is the thing that I really enjoy about a live. When I'm watching a live, people can start talking to each other in the chat. And I think that's nice because then you might see each other this week. You might talk to each other next week too. That's really nice. Yeah, you're right. You got to do what you got to do. Oh, man. There's not enough time in the day, and I don't feel like I have enough energy to get everything done, but that's fine. We'll just chip away. I will chip away at all the little things I need to get done. There's also a billion things I want to get done as well. Okay. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you what I would order at a cafe. For brunch, I would get the vegetarian breakfast. And a vegetarian breakfast in Australia, it can be different in different cafes that you go to. Sometimes it's got spinach leaves, but they're cooked, so they're like sautéed spinach. You can get eggs, usually 2 eggs, and they will ask you, how do you like your eggs cooked? Sometimes on the menu it will say eggs your way, meaning you can have them however you want them cooked. Yes, you are right. Vegemite. I had some Vegemite before. Vegemite on toast. It's so delicious. You can also have Vegemite on, I'm going to say biscuits, but I'm talking about the kind of biscuit that's like a cracker. In America, they might call it a cracker, but I would call it like a savory biscuit. Yeah. So, what else might you have in a vegetarian breakfast? You might have sometimes 2 pieces of toast, and sometimes it is like a sourdough type of bread, which is really delicious, but sometimes when they toast it, it goes really, really hard, and it's like too hard on my teeth, but it's very nice bread to have toasted. What else? Sometimes they have baked beans, And baked beans, to me, are quite British, but we enjoy them here. We like baked beans, but usually, like, when we're having, like, a big breakfast or something like that. Hash browns, and sometimes a half of a tomato that's been grilled, and sometimes sautéed mushrooms. And it's called a big breakfast because there's usually a lot of food on your plate. However, I have noticed in recent times, usually there's less food on the plate now, and it depends where you go. Now, if you were to have a big breakfast, the meat version, not the vegetarian version, instead of the spinach, and sometimes instead of the mushrooms, it depends on the place, they might have sausages and bacon. And sometimes you can add an avo, add half an avo. That's another thing that's really popular, is smashed avo on toast, and sometimes with Vegemite. That's really delicious. Avocado and Vegemite. If you have a chance to try Vegemite and avocado, but try a tiny bit of Vegemite, not too much. You've got to try a little bit first. I put on a lot, but it's an acquired taste. Hello. How's it going? Oh, Dan, I think you were asking me about grammar stuff before as well. Let me read what you've written here. Oh, hello from Japan. What's your name, the person from Japan? I might be going to Japan soon, actually. Let me answer Dan's question. Are those different? Let me look. He is Oh, I think I see what you're doing. He is absolutely a good doctor. You could say that. He is undoubtedly a good doctor. I'm reading what's in the chat. Someone's asking me which is the best way to put this. Okay, I see how you've said it. So I would say, I think the best way to say it would be, he is undoubtedly a good doctor. That's how I would say it. Person from Japan, how do you pronounce that? How would it be? I wanna say Yama. Is that right? Please tell me. Please tell me if that's right. I can try saying it a different way, but I'll see if that's right. I might be going to Japan next year. I really hope it happens. Neptune, I don't know what you're saying. I might be going to Japan. I might be going snowboarding. I hope it happens. And I realize that I need more money to be able to travel around Japan, because Japan is so cool. I mean, it will be winter, so maybe I should also go back in the summer. I would love to learn a little bit of Japanese before I go. I have a question actually about Japan. I think before I go, if I want to use the trains, if I want to travel by train, or I don't know if you call it a subway, but if I want to travel that way in Japan, do I need to be able to read some Japanese to see signs? And do I need to be able to listen to certain things? Is it in English ever? Or is it that might be a stupid question. Or is it just always in Japanese? That's my question about Japan. I'm just looking to see, can I see? Hmm. Everyone in the chat if I want to. Oh, really, Neptune? Okay, that's interesting. Um, okay. November is the best time to visit Japan, is what you're saying. Well, I'm probably going in February. And I'm hoping that's not too late for the ski season. Uh, but it's the first time I'm going, and I feel like if I go once, it's the sort of place I would actually like to go again, but you never know if you get to go back to a place. Does anyone have any questions for me? Let me know if you do. So today wasn't so exciting for me, but I needed a day at home to get everything done, so I'm ready for the week ahead. Um, I'm gonna say Yama until you correct me otherwise. Um, Welcome to Japan feature. What is that? I'm gonna write that down. Feature, is that a thing? Or are you just saying welcome to Japan? Um, what's the time? Okay, I've been live for 21 minutes. I'm happy just to talk and tell you stuff, but I also am interested if there's anything you would like me to talk about specifically. Cool. Okay. What can I tell you? So if I want to ask for water in a cafe, sometimes they have water, like they have cups and they have a jug of water, or sometimes like a little tap or something, and you can help yourself to the water. Sometimes they have that. So sometimes you don't need to ask the, what are they called? The waitress or the waiter. You don't need to, or the people that work in the cafe. Sometimes they have the glasses or cups, depending on what they have, and they'll have it just ready for you. You can just go and get it. I pronounce the T in water. Some people will say that word without a T and it becomes more like a D. So they might say water, water. But I like to pronounce my T's. Um, do you mean you're not? Oh, do you mean your output is starting off like a baby? Like it's very very little words, little sentences. Yes, Fazem, both are Aussie ways to pronounce water, water, water. People will say it both ways. You get to choose how you want to pronounce it. Um, I like pronouncing my T's, but also because I'm a teacher and it makes it easier for kids to spell when I'm pronouncing my letters. Um, I hope I'm saying your name right. I don't feel confident with it. Yes, that's right. Neptune. It's like Aussie English is definitely more closer to British English than it is closer to American or Canadian English. So, yes, saying water does sound closer to the British way to say it. Yeah, water. Anyway, what else can I tell you today? Um, I can use the word going, but I can say gonna, gonna. So I'm going to go to the shops. I'm gonna go to the shops. There's another one for you. There was something I was thinking about. Oh, yeah. If you want to sound more Aussie with your speech, a really quick and easy way to do that is when you want to say yes, you can say yes like that if you want to, but we often say yeah or yep. It might seem like a simple thing, like it's not a big deal, but if you can throw, and I think also to say yes um, sounds good, especially if it's like a more formal situation. But if you can throw in a few yeahs and yeps, yeah, yep, that's quite an Aussie way to agree with people, say yes. I don't know if you can hear the birds outside. It's interesting that you say that, Yama, because grammar is something that I personally find a bit boring. But of course, it can be really helpful for people when they're trying to understand the language to learn grammar. It's definitely a good idea. However, having that comprehensible input is very, very good. So, in fact, I've just started listening to some Japanese and I actually love it. I love the sound of it. It's so nice. Yeah, Fazam. Yep. Yeah, and yep. If you throw in a few of those, you'll start to sound just a little bit Aussie. And not that you have to say yeah and yep, you could just say yes. Anyway, I started watching a show in Japanese and it was actually quite good. Okay, yeah, Yama. You know what I think? I think do what it depends what you need English for. If you just want to be able to talk to others, have people understand you when you talk, or you just want to watch things online, if that's your purpose, it's just for fun, then you can learn English grammar if you feel like it's helping you, or if there's something that you suddenly realize that you're confused with. So if there's something that's confusing and it's different in Japanese to English and you can't work out why it's different or how it's different, then it could be helpful to learn grammar. But if you're enjoying just let me have a look here. If you're enjoying just learning English just for fun, I mean, you don't have to do it depends on the person, I think. Like for me, I don't want to just sit and learn grammar all day. I find that boring. Hello, person called no one. What's your name? Anyway, so talking about grammar, I think it also depends how you learn. Because I met someone who was learning another language, but she was a French speaker. She had learned English, and then she was learning another language. And I could see that for her, it was helpful to learn grammar because she was thinking about English grammar and she was thinking about French grammar, and then she was thinking about the new language, and it was helping her to figure out, okay, this one's like this one's like this one's like this. So I think it's up to you what you need English for, and if look, you can do a bit of grammar, and then if it gets boring, just watch like a really cool comprehensible input video or something, or listen to some music in English or something like that. I think it's good to mix it up so you don't get bored. But I'm also thinking about me as a learner, what I like to do. Um, Person called no one. You said you learnt English, but now you don't like your native language. What's your native language? And you're addicted to English songs and books. Look, I think that's fun. I think it's important that we don't lose any language that we know. It can happen though. And you can have a preference. There might be a language that you prefer. Yeah, that's true. Um, Rolf, you're right. When I was living in Zurich, the most important thing was that I understood what was going on around me, and the people I was talking to understood me. So that's the biggest thing. Can you understand each other? That's really the most important thing. And so if you are using like incorrect grammar, it's not correct. It's okay as long as you're still being understood. Now, if you need English for a formal situation or for a job, then you might want to study it in a different way. But for the most part, it's about being understood and understanding other people. Yep. Amazing. So I've been live for 32 minutes, and I did say that these lives might be about the 30-minute mark, depending on what people want to talk about. If if people are done, then we can always finish up. Having said that, if there are other things you want to ask me about, or other things you want to know about Aussie English or Australia, feel free to put it in the chat. I wonder if I can see people that write to me in the chat, but can I see? I don't think I can see a list of everyone that's here. I don't think I can. I would like to though. Mm. Yeah, I I find grammar boring. But occasionally there might be something that is sort of interesting about grammar. Sorry, there's a really noisy motorbike. I don't know if you can hear it. Yes, so when it comes to grammar, like for example, when I was in Zurich, when I was living there, they speak Swiss German. And so I had to realize, and it was sort of fun the way I learnt about this, that in German, the verb is put at the end of the sentence. Am I saying the right thing? Rolf, tell me if I'm right. And so my girls that I looked after when I lived there, they would do the same thing in English. They would use the German grammar in English, but it would still make sense to me. So, for example, they would say, "Can you with me a game play?" which in English is not the correct order of the words. So you might say, "Can we play a game? Can you play a game with me?" But not, "Can you with me a game play?" And so I just found that really cute that um, these little girls that were Swiss girls, they spoke English and they spoke German, and German was their first language. They would use the German grammar in English sentences, and guess what? I could understand them. So that was sort of fun. Let me look at the chat. So, I mean, I don't think you should completely neglect grammar. You should learn about it, but like if it's not fun for you and depending on what you need, then do what's fun. Rolf, you're saying nearly 30 years ago you visited Australia and you were speaking English for the first time. That's pretty cool. How good was your English when you came here? Did you find it hard to understand Australians, or was it okay? I'm interested to know. So you were learning by speaking and listening. Mm. And it's interesting now with the internet because now we can have this conversation, we can chat, and we can learn from each other online. Whereas before, you absolutely, well, maybe not absolutely, but it was best if you could go to the country. I mean, people might have different opinions about that because sometimes when you go to a new place, it's overwhelming and it's hard to learn. Let me look at what people are saying in the chat. Oh, yeah, Fazem. I think that there's a certain amount of grammar that you learn that comes naturally as you learn how to speak the language because you're hearing people just like in the same way that kids learn how to speak. They're not sitting down with a textbook learning grammar. They're listening to people around them, and that's how they're learning which order the words go in. And that's why also kids will get things wrong. They'll do weird things with words, and often I will correct them and I will say it back to them, but I'll say it in the right way. Enda, hello, how are you? I'm so sorry. I tried to do some editing of a video today, and I was struggling with it because it was right at the start of putting the video together, and it just felt like a really big job, and I was having a hard time getting started with it. But I think I just need to push myself a bit this week and do little bits at a time with the editing because I think it will be a fun video when I finish it. And in this video that I'm talking about, I went to a festival where they had lots of vans. So like combi vans, Volkswagen vans. And anyway, you'll see it when I'm finished. I'm sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. I have a question, Yuma. Did I change the way I'm saying that? I'm not sure. You're gonna have to help me. Tennis. I love tennis. Tennis is a great sport to play in Australia, actually. We have a lot of tennis courts. Tennis is very popular in Australia. And of course, now that paddle ball, is that what it's called? Paddle ball? Is that what it's called? Anyway, now that that's become popular, lots of people are playing that, and I haven't played it yet, and I really should give it a go. Rolf, you said you'd never spoken English before you came to Australia. Wow, that's amazing. I'm catching up on the chat. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow. You're saying English grammar is easy compared to other languages. Is it really? Okay. Oh, you're learning German now. Yes, I agree with that. When you're learning a language that has um, gendered nouns, that gets really confusing, and you just have to remember which one's which. And then there might sort of be a rule for certain things, but then even the rules get broken with different things. It makes it difficult because then I think, for me at least, it made me feel like nervous, like which one am I using? Am I saying the right thing? And I think then you don't want to speak, but speaking's so important to practice. Um, yeah, okay. I like German's a cool language, I think. Um, oh, that's interesting, Fazem, what you're saying about what your teacher said. Um, that's interesting. Okay, so what came first? Did the grammar come first or the language came first? The language came first, and then we worked out what the grammar is, what the rules are. I think being a linguist would be a very interesting job. I've met a linguist before, and she wrote books. She wrote books for Indigenous Australians, and she wrote the books specifically for their needs, but also about their culture and about like their families and what their life is like whether they're living in the desert or an island. That was really interesting to meet that lady who was a linguist. Yeah, amazing. Anything else anyone wants me to talk about specifically? I'm happy just to chat. It's kind of fun. I also play tennis, actually. I haven't played in ages, but tennis is such good fun to play. And when I play tennis, I just like to have a casual hit, meaning I don't really need to keep the score, which is not really how you're meant to play, but I just love hitting the tennis ball, serving and just having fun. And I think tennis is a very good social game, actually. Tennis in Australia, because you can find tennis clubs in just about every town, even in the really small towns, you often can join a club and a tennis club and get to know people. That's a really good social way to get to know people in Australia. Let me have a look and at what you're saying. That's interesting. If you said if you said that to me, if you say, "Good day, miss," like, I would understand it, but so first of all, we generally don't say "good day," but we do say "g'day" instead of "good day." Um, and "miss" often is a word that's used for teachers, female teachers, and so some of the kids might call you miss, and it doesn't matter actually if you're a Mrs. or a Ms. or a Miss, they'll just call you Miss anyway. Um, I yeah, let me think how to answer your actual question though, so I don't get off topic. You wouldn't say lady, like you could. Let me think how I would say this. If there are some if there are two women or two girls, not usually little girls, but like a little bit older, you could say ladies, and you could refer to them as ladies. Um, if you wanted to say something to them. So you might say, "G'day, ladies, how's it going?" So you could say that, but you wouldn't just say it as just one. Like you wouldn't call a female lady. Not usually. Depends on the sentence. I'm trying to think if there's a way to say it. So I have had some students who've come from different countries and they've called me ma'am, and that is very uncommon in Australia. Um, I'm trying to think if there's a way, because we don't normally mention that the person is female or male when we greet someone. We just say the same sort of thing to men and women. Unless like maybe you're talking to kids and then you might say hello girls or hello boys or but yeah, does that make sense, Enda? I don't know if I've explained that very well. Do you like my cup? I got this from what's it called? Starbucks. Starbucks is not popular in Australia. I got this from Starbucks when I was in Canada, and it's like a plastic cup, and they give it to you for free when you buy a drink at Christmas time. And they have like one day of the year, and it's called Red Cup Day. But really, it's like it's meant to be a Christmas cup, but they call it Red Cup. And I don't know if it's always red actually, but it has a different design each year, and you can only get it on one particular day. And I just love this cup so much. It's just like it's got a really nice lid, and it looks like the actual Starbucks cups. I could tell you about Starbucks in Australia if you're interested. Starbucks in Australia, they started off thinking that they could just conquer the market, and they didn't think about what Australians like when it comes to coffee shops. I might finish this live soon. If you have any questions, ask me now. Otherwise, yeah, it's meant to be a mermaid. Is that it is a mermaid, right? It's the Starbucks logo. Any questions, let me know, and then I'm going to finish the live if there's nothing else anyone wants to know about. And I think you're in Indonesia. Are you in Indonesia? And I'm trying to think, are you in... I don't think you're in Bali. I think you're somewhere else in Indonesia. I'm going to say Java, but I don't know if I've got that right. Starbucks, I think, is expensive in Asia, I think. But I haven't spent enough time in Asia to know. Oh, hello. How do you say your name? Is it Hiba? What is the weather like now in Australia? We've had quite a few hot days, like quite hot. It's meant to be spring. And it's just been like way hotter than it feels like it should be. We had a couple of nice days that felt like spring days. And then out of nowhere, it just felt like it just went straight to summer. It was like it forgot to be spring where I am. But that's not the case everywhere in Australia right now. If you are down south, so if you are in Melbourne, I'm wondering what the weather is like in Melbourne right now. Melbourne weather can be very unpredictable. Sorry. Need another drink. Okay. Yeah, so we've had some hot days, and then the last couple of days, it was a bit cooler, but then it's gonna get hot again, just really, really quickly. Hiba, where are you? Let me see who else has written in the chat. Um, I drink coffee every day as well. I love a coffee first thing in the morning. That's my favorite way to start the day. Enda, I'm pleased I got that right, from Java. I thought so. Next to Bali. I think I told you I've been to Java before, ages ago, and I've been to Bali as well. Mm, okay, so the winter is coming. So in not in Australia, in Iraq, do you? I think, are you being sarcastic? Do you like the winter or you don't like the winter? Fazem, how is Melbourne weather? I was wondering how what the weather's like. What's the weather like in Melbourne? What's it been like over the weekend? And what's the temperature in Melbourne? Melbourne is infamous for having, you can say, 4 seasons in one day. So in Melbourne, you can go out in the morning and you can think, "Oh, it's gonna be sunny and beautiful," but it's a good idea to bring a jacket or at least a jumper and possibly an umbrella as well. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, Hiba, you love winter. Do you know, I love winter if I'm at the snow. So, think before you joined, I think, Hiba, I was saying I'm hoping to go to Japan to go skiing. I hope. I say skiing, I'll go snowboarding. Um, yes, I'm hoping that I get to do that. So I'm wondering, Hiba, do you snowboard or ski, and can you do that in Iraq? So it's cloudy and 19 degrees in Melbourne today. Where I am further north. I am north of Sydney, and I think today, oh, what did it get to? I'm actually not sure. I want to say like 25, 26. I think so. But there was a bit of a cool breeze, which kept it nice, actually. Yep. Anything else you want to ask me about? I appreciate people talking in the chat. I appreciate people telling me things. Oh, there's no snow in Iraq. I feel like snow is what makes winter fun. If it's just cold and there's no snow, I feel like where's the fun? But if you can enjoy the snow in the winter, then it's like worthwhile. The only thing I do like about winter is when you've had a long hot summer in Australia, you can appreciate having a little bit of the cooler weather here in Australia. But this last winter, it felt so cold. We had so many cold days. It felt colder than usual. Um, Inda, are you asking me, do you understand the Liverpool accent? Yes, I think I would understand the Liverpool accent. Most accents, I'm just thinking if I'm saying this right. I think so. Most accents in English, I understand. Yes, and I can imagine that it would be difficult. So what happens is, um, in Australia, we grew up watching all sorts of different television. I mean, my generation did. Now it's like going to be maybe different again because people are watching people from all over the world on YouTube. Um, but um, we watched a lot of British TV when we were little. We watched a lot of American TV. I would say more American TV than, yeah, probably more American because then we also got movies and stuff out of Hollywood and Disney movies, which for a lot of the time they have American accents. Doesn't matter where the person's from, where the character is from. Um, so, um, what was I going to say about that? I think I can understand most English accents. There are some very heavy, thick Scottish accents that if they're a really thick accent, I have found there have been times I've heard that accent and there's different accents, um, different Scottish accents, and sometimes those accents can be hard to understand for me. But it's a really nice accent. Yeah. I found when I went to Canada and also when I was in America as well, they don't always understand me, um, which is always strange when you can understand someone else and they cannot understand you. And sometimes I would just have to completely change what I was saying and how I was saying it to be understood by the Canadians and the Americans, which is interesting. I didn't say hello to you in the chat. How do you say your name? Niaz? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Hello. G'day. Good to see you. Thanks for joining, everyone. Yeah, Aussie English is pretty fun, actually. I like Aussie English. Um, you know what's interesting? I found that when I was living overseas, especially when I was in Canada, because I was away for a number of years, when I would see something like a TV show or something that had someone speaking with an Australian accent, it really made me feel homesick. Um, I found that quite interesting. Even though I love hearing the Aussie accent, I was like, I can't hear it because I was feeling homesick. Aussie English is fun is also because there's so much slang and so many different words that we have, and some words are similar to British English, and some are just completely our own invention in a way. I'm pleased that people can chat in the chat. That's really nice, and that's part of the reason I wanted to do lives. Um, Hiba, is it possible to become like natives in speaking? Um, with enough practice and time, I think it is. I really think it is. But you've got to give yourself time. Um, and you've really got to study the language. Like it's not just practicing it, but like studying what it sounds like, listening to it. I met someone who was a translator and they would translate writing and they used to translate was it German into English and possibly the other way around as well. So they used to do German English translating, and they had lived in Germany for long enough that when people met this person, they just automatically thought that she was born in Germany, that she lived her whole life in Germany because her German was so, so good. Like it was perfect, perfect German, perfect pronunciation, perfect accent. Um, People were very surprised. So I think it is possible to sound like a local. Um, it just takes a lot of practice. And I was going to say something else about that too. What was I going to say? Oh, actually, I was talking about this to you, Fazem. I was saying that one of the ways that you've become an Aussie in Australia is as your accent develops. And of course, if you want to just keep speaking with your original accent, that's your choice. You can if you want to. But if you start to sound Aussie, people people will be, hopefully, I think for the most part, welcoming of you in Australia, even if you speak with a different accent. But if you start to speak with an Aussie accent and you start to use our slang and you start to sound Australian, then people automatically will treat you like an Aussie, and you become an Aussie pretty quickly, even if you don't um, even if you don't have citizenship yet. If you're here um, and you sound Australian, then it's like you join the club pretty quickly, if that makes sense. Yeah, no worries. I am happy to answer questions. Bring your questions every time we have a live. Um, does this time work for people? For it's 5 p.m. Well, not now. It's now 6 p.m. But when I started the stream, it was 5 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra time. So Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, that time zone, 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Does that time work for people? I was going to close the live ages ago, but people are chatting in the chat, and I'm really happy just to let you chat. I think it's nice. What can I tell you about? The time's good. 5 o'clock on a Sunday. Yeah, and I would love to tell you about Darwin. Darwin's a great place. Um, one thing about Darwin, in fact, there's so much to tell you about Darwin. So Darwin, in case people don't know, is a city at the top of Australia, and I lived there for a number of years. Hiba, it's a good time for you. 10 a.m. in Iraq. Okay, cool. So Darwin, Darwin, the temperature in Darwin is similar to in Java and Bali. It's similar with the temperature. Yeah, in the comments, that's right. I can close the live. Is this starting to go? Let me know if I think this is the microphone I'm using, but I don't know if it's actually just going through my computer. If you can't hear me at any point, just tell me. I'll have to work that out. Okay. Um, um, I don't know what that is. Mariva? Is that a place? Tell me what that is. Niaz. So Darwin is hot, humid. The heat is oppressive. Oppressive means it's like you're being dragged down by the heat and the humidity. But in the middle of the year, so like June, July, that's the dry season. And it is just the most beautiful time of year to be in Darwin. So if you ever want to visit Darwin, but not necessarily go there to live, June, July, those are probably the best months to be there. In northern Queensland, Mariva. How do I not know Mariva? I might have to look it up. See where it is. Once I see it, I might realize I know it. Oh, do you mean Mariba with a B? Let me check. You might mean, yeah, okay. Let me just double check. What's it near? Oh, it's near Cairns. Let me check this out. So Cairns is also really nice. I'm getting distracted. I was telling you about Darwin and now I'm jumping. So let me look how far north it is. Yeah, okay. Okay. Darwin's a great place because there are people from Indonesia that live. I met someone who's from Indonesia that lives in Darwin. And there's also a big Filipino community in Darwin. There's a big Greek community in Darwin. Um, and lots of Indigenous people come from different communities on the islands, desert country, different places. And Darwin is like the big city. It's not such a big city, it's a small city, but it's the place up there that people go to if they need to go to the city. What can I tell you about Darwin? Darwin is great for job opportunities because a lot of people end up leaving because they find the weather too difficult to deal with. You get cyclones up in Darwin. Okay, bye Farzam. No problem. What else do you want to know about Darwin? It's just a really good place. A lot of people from Darwin will go over to Bali for holidays because it's so close, but people from other parts of Australia will go to Bali too. Mariba. Okay, Mariba in Queensland. I haven't been there. I'm sure I haven't been there. I'm just looking at it on the map. I've been to Cairns, and Cairns is lovely. And Cairns is a really good spot when you live down south. So I think Farzam, I think you've left, but if you watch this later, Cairns is a really good spot. If you live in Melbourne and it's cold in Melbourne in the middle of the year, go up to Cairns for a holiday. There's lots of places you can go, but Cairns and Mariba, it's like, would you call it tropical? Yeah, you would call it tropical, I think. It's, I think that sort of area is like the beginning of the top end of Australia. We call it the top end. And there's a beautiful botanical gardens in Cairns, actually. Really gorgeous. You can't swim in the ocean though. Once you get up to Cairns and Darwin, I think Broome would be the same in Western Australia. You can't swim in the ocean because of crocs. Crocs are crocodiles and they will eat you. They are to be avoided at every cost. Hiba, what is your favorite place to travel? I love traveling everywhere. I'm trying to think where I've traveled to. There's still places I haven't been to yet, but I've traveled a lot, And yeah, I've traveled a lot, and I there's not really a place that I didn't enjoy traveling to, because every place is different. Every place is different, and you learn something new everywhere you go. Um, I don't know how to say your name. Niaz? You're scared of crocs. I'm scared of crocs as well. And crocodiles are something to be scared of. They are vicious animals. Absolutely. They're beautiful to look at from afar. Don't go close to them. Like, not. And you know what? If you see a crocodile and you're near water, um, there's going to be at least 20 that you can't see because they're under the water. So Niaz was correct, was it? Is that how I said it? I have to remember people's names. Niaz, where are you from? I don't know if you said where you're from, unless I missed it. Friends, we might go soon. Bangladesh. Wow, I've never been to Bangladesh before. That's pretty cool. Amazing. Friends, I think I'm going to end the chat, end the live. Thank you so much for coming and chatting with me. This was really good fun. This time next week, 5 p.m. Sydney time on a Sunday. Oh, and I will say one more thing in case anyone's interested. I have a, yay, that'll be good, Hiba. I have a Skool community, and Skool is like a platform online that, how do I explain it? We're doing live calls at least once a week to practice English, but it's not just about that. It's sort of like this sort of informal chatting as well, just learning about Aussie English, but also learning about Australia. So it's sort of like an educational thing, but it's also just for fun. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. Cheers. Cheers is a great way to say, sometimes it can mean thanks. Cheers. Enda, you're saying, how about Fremantle? Fremantle's a great place. Fremantle in Western Australia. Yep. Beautiful sunset because they're in the west. I get the sunrise over the ocean, but Fremantle gets a gorgeous sunset. And in fact, if you're in Fremantle, you can catch a ferry to, is it Rottnest Island? Am I saying that right? And you can go see the quokkas. So if you don't know what a quokka is, I made a short video about it, like a shorts video. And a quokka is the cutest animal you will ever see in your life. It's just the cutest thing. It looks like it's smiling. So if you go to Fremantle, I'm just looking at the map. Yeah, Rottnest Island. I did say the right thing. Rottnest Island. You can go there from Fremantle. And Fremantle, we also call it Freo. The locals call it Freo. Rolf, that's cool. That'd be great if you could make it. Tschüss and bis später. Am I saying it with the good enough accent? You can tell me. I don't know many other languages. I just know like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of German, but not much. Not much at all. All right. Did I miss anything? No, I didn't miss anything. Okay. Thanks, everyone. If you have more questions, comments, whatever, let me know for next week, because I'll just chat about something. Otherwise, if you have something you want to tell me about or ask me about, then that would be really cool. Cool. Thanks for being here, everyone. Bye.